raining, like she said, very auspicious. Rains, you know how beautiful. Number one, the English, when we start our nursery rhymes, we say, rain, rain, go away, come again another day. We want to play. But number idhula, rain is so, we have revered the rain, we want the rain. Everybody should want the rain. அது என்ன டிஃப்ரென்ஸ்னா இல்லை, இதுதான் நமக்கு நேற்றுக்கு நம்ம பார்த்தோம். நம்ம land, we are getting rains for this 100 hours in a particular season. Whereas this poetry, nursery rhyme, has been composed for a land, which is England, where it rains every day. Daily பிசு 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 பிசுன்னு பெஞ்சிட்டே இருக்கும் அங்க. So அவங்களுக்கு rain is a nuisance in a way. Whereas for us,
backward.
So the fundamental point which we will see towards the end of today's session is your local topography, where you stay is very important. That defines you. You have to, like English la solvanga, be in Rome, act in Rome as Romans. So எங்கெங்க நம்ம வசிக்கிறோமோ அந்தந்த இடத்துக்கு தகுந்த மாதிரி நம்ம வாழறது ரொம்ப முக்கியம். அதனால தான் இந்த மாதிரி ரைம்ஸ், அதுக்கு தான் நம்ம ஊர்ல வந்து we had our own line, இது ரைம்ஸ் அவையார்தெல்லாம் இருக்கு ஆத்திச்சூடி. ஸோ அதுக்கெல்லாம் நம்ம வருவோம் இன்னைக்கு. பட் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் செஷன் இஸ் அபவுட் காமன் ஹிஸ்ட்ரி. இன்னைக்கு தீமே என்னன்னா ஒரே பாரதம். நேற்றுக்கு உன்னத பாரதம் நிறைய நம்ம ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணினோம்ல, இன்னைக்கு நம்ம ஒரே பாரதத்தை பார்க்க போறோம். என்னெல்லாம் ஃபீச்சர்ஸ் பைண்டஸ் as ஒரே பாரதம், நம்ம எண்ணம், how has our thinking been for the entire civilization called Bharat. Even though we have been local in our customs and thought and traditions, we have also thought globally for our civilization.
So because இங்கிலாந்துல சுமாரா ஒரு 200 நாள் மழை பெய்யும். 365 நாள் 200 நாள் மழை பெய்யும். அப்போ என்ன ஆகும்? சொன்ன மாதிரி பிசு பிசு பிசுன்னு இருக்கும். அவங்களுக்கு முழு நாள் பெய்யாது, ஒரு அரை மணி நேரம் 3/4 மணி நேரம் பெய்யும். ஏன்னா அட்லாண்டிக்ல இந்த காற்று வருது இல்லையா, யூரோப்பை நோக்கி, அவங்களுக்கு முதல் தீவு எது அந்த காற்றுக்கு? இங்கிலாந்து. ஸோ கொஞ்சம் பேஞ்சிட்டு மீதி போய் பெல்ஜியமில் பெய்யும், திருப்பி நார்த் சீல பிக்கப் பண்ணி பெல்ஜியமில் பெய்யும். பெல்ஜியமில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அப்போ எவ்ரி அரை மணி நேரம் பெய்யும், அரை மணி நேரம் பெய்யும், அரை மணி நிற்கும், அரை மணி நேரம் பெய்யும், அரை மணி நிற்கும். நம்ம விட்டு விட்டு ஒரு மாதிரி ஒரு இரிட்டேட்டிங்காக இருக்குன்னு அது மாதிரி பண்ணாது. ஸோ அது ஒரு பக்கம் இருக்கட்டும். இவ்வளோ மழை பெஞ்சும் அவங்களுக்கு இங்கிலாண்டில் ஒரு கொடை வாங்கணும்னு ஒரு ஃபீலிங்கே தெரியுமா? இங்கிலாண்டில் தி ஐடியா ஆஃப் அம்பர்லா, கொடை, எல்லா கோவிலையும் நம்ம வந்து கொடை போடுறாங்க சாமிக்கு, பார்த்துருக்கீங்க இல்லையா? வி ஹாவ் அம்பர்லா சாத்திர நீங்கள் சொல்லணும். அதான் சத்ரபதி சிவாஜி, ஏன்னா அவர் கொடைக்கு உட்கார்ந்தார், கொடையில் உட்கார்ந்தார் அவர், அதான் சத்ரபதி சிவாஜி. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி ஐடியா சொல்லிச்சு. ஸோ கொடை till 200 years back was not known in England. It was India that gave the idea of umbrella to the world. There's a film they made on the female film. Please watch that. I don't think you have time to show it today, but please watch it. When the Pope's envoy came to Kerala, Malabar, some 500-600 years ago, he writes, you know what? It is strange that people in India carry a tent over their head. Carry a tent over their head. I will take a film part of it, to be a film later. But the point is really what? So, let's say that umbrella. You know, umbrella. They carry a tent. It's in a cave stick. Like a tent over there. But Vamana Avatar, Vishnu did. He always showed only this short, Vaman short, but also as an umbrella. So the idea of umbrella goes back to us. Every Raja has an umbrella. Every king has an umbrella. Think of it. Every nobleman carries an umbrella.
See, there are two aspects.
Only in India.
There are two aspects to it across India, this thought. When you show a king with an umbrella, one, the king is so precious to you because as a ruler and his visions, his ideas, they are important to you. That is why we safeguard some of these important people. The kings and the rulers, they are all looked after because that one person can make a difference to the entire civilization. He charts the path for it. That is one aspect. You may think it's protective for the king. The other symbolic aspect it represents is he is creating the shelter for the civilization. The umbrella denotes that he is also creating the shelter for this, all the people around him. So both ways that umbrella signifies so many subtle messages.
So divinity or umbrella, royalty or umbrella, scholars you have umbrella.
Does divine need you to take care of it? Divine is divine. I mean, you don't need to hold the umbrella for the divine. Because the umbrella divine needs to be taken care of. The umbrella for the divine is taken care of.
So a person in the hand way, he took umbrella for idea from India and took it to England. Even though it rains for 200 days, they didn't have the idea from, they took it from here. So umbrella, if you look up later with Google, you will find umbrellas are called handways. Till 100 years back, only then they got the name umbrella. So that's again an offering, Bharatham's offering. Can you think of like that? So, and so nice, everywhere in India you have umbrella. Unique to us. Such a unique thing. Okay. Last evening, we all enjoyed a wonderful program, a cultural program. And the drama was on what? Who are the two people next to Velu Nachiyar? Multiple. You know, they sacrificed their lives. But do you know that they did a proclamation? Any of you aware of the proclamation they did? Proclamation, what do you say in Tamil? Pragadanam. Pragadanam is a proclamation. So they proclaimed. What did they proclaim? You know what they proclaimed? In Sivagangai, Kalayar Kovil and Tiruchirappalli, what did they proclaim? What? Look at this, what did they proclaim?
Dot. What is that? How is it kind of? There's a butterfly sitting there.
Look at that. Jambu Dvipa Pragadanam. They are sitting in Kalayar Kovil. They are sitting in Sivagangai. They are sitting in Tiruchirappalli Kottaila, Srirangam Kovil, Madal Southula. They are pasting a Pragadanam, proclamation. What? Of they are going to be rulers of Jambu Dvipam. After what you have? Madras Presidency. That's a British, Madras Presidency is what they are trying to establish. Then you come to later, after independence, you come to Madras State. 15 years after independence, you get to the idea of Tamil Nadu. So Tamil Nadu is only 50 years old as an idea itself. Before that, we had Madras State. When Rajaji was the chief minister, it was called Madras State. Yeah, so only then it got Tamil. So before that, what you had? Tamilakam. Vadavengadam, you had Tamilakam. You know that idea, all of you. So before, what is here these two people say? You saw yesterday Bharata Varsham. One of you mentioned Bharata Varsham. All few of you also mentioned Bharata Kandam. The continent of Bharat Khanda, the peace. From where to where was Bharata Kandam? Rum, Turkey to Suvarnabhumi, Indonesia. Suvarnabhumi, Indonesia. But what is he talking? He's not even talking about Bharata Kandam. Yesterday I saw the two people standing, the two youngsters standing there as Marudu brothers. Because it was not part of the agenda actually to talk to them, but I thought to bring it in first today. They are talking about Jambu Dvipam. That's even bigger than Bharata Kandam. And they are proclaiming it. Sitting in Kalayar Kovil. That means the idea exists in our Tamil mind, Bharata mind. Look at that. And which is this Jambu Dvipam? Jambu na enna? Naval Palam. Ahana Naval Palam. Yeah, so much rich in proteins and all antioxidants. வாயெல்லாம் நான் ஒரு மாதிரி ஒரு பர்பிள் இது விட்டுடுவது. It's nice. So look at that idea of Now, and which is it from whole of Europe and Asia, what you call it Eurasia, the continent of island of Eurasia. Because Eurasia is an island. To take from France, Denmark to Scandinavia, to the in the west, to the Kamchatka Peninsula in the east, in Russia, to Malaysia in the south, to Kanyakumari in the south, to Arabia. It's an island. The whole thing is an island. So it's a Dweepam. Dweepam island. That is Teevu.
Tamil we've been calling it.
See,
the word is different. Sound phonetically they are two different. Jambu, Tamil, Naval. But look at it throughout number Tamil, while in some other parts of India they may call it Jambu Dweep. In Tamil Nadu, in Tamil region and all the local south here, we've been calling it Naval Teevu. So, Dweepam and Teevu phonetically they are similar. But Jambu and Naval phonetically they are not at all similar. But ideologically they are similar. So we may differ in languages but not in ideas. So that is fundamental.
That's a larger idea we're getting down to of understanding that they are looking at Eurasia. A person sitting in one district, he's thinking this all by land. And where did he get the idea from? The Marudha brothers 200 years back, 300 years back, where did he get the idea from? Tamil, who is the oldest lady we have? So we all want to get Tamil Thai. Abhiyar is much later. Old lady. Where is it? Go back. Look at this here. மணிமேகலையில் வருது பூம்புகாரோட தெய்வம் யாரு? காவல் தெய்வம் தொன்மூதாட்டி. தொன்மூதாட்டின்னு என்ன? வயதுல முதிய அம்மா, முதிய தொன்மூதாட்டின்னு அவங்க யாரு? அவங்க ஜம்பு தீப காவல் தெய்வம். ஸோ பூம்புகார் மணிமேகலையிலேயே எழுதிட்டு அவங்க தான் அவங்க காவல் தெய்வம் ஃபார் தமிழுக்கு மாத்திரம் இல்லை, காவல் தெய்வம் ஃபார் குஜராத்துக்கோ மகாராஷ்டிராக்கோ இல்லைன்னா அஸ்ஸாமுக்கோ இல்லை. இட் இஸ் நாட் ஈவன் காவல் தெய்வம் ஃபார் பாரத வருஷம் ஆர் பாரத கண்டம். ஷி இஸ் காவல் தெய்வம் ஃபார் Jambu Dweepam. So look at the largeness of our idea. And this is, she is not a young girl. She is already a Tonmudati. That means the idea has been coming to this land a millennia or two before even Poombuhar and Manimehalai. Look at the antiquity that you are all children of. Look at the noble idea you are all children of. So we cannot be parochial. We come to a much larger scheme of things. This is not a speech where I make this point. You have to anubhavam. That's why you see the first slide we showed. BharathGyan is what? Experience the knowledge of India. The idea of anubhavam. That is what each of us have to independently anubhavam. It's not collectively also yes, but independently also yes. Get it? So that's what we want to show you. So it's a concept prevalent then all over the land. And this is mentioned there. It's a guardian expert.
So when we talk about common history, there are two aspects to history. One, who are chronicling of the rulers who have ruled you and who have ruled the land, their achievements, and then the wars they have fought. But in our civilization, we have written about our rulers not because of the wars they fought, but because of the values they upheld, because of what they have made the civilization, what they have, how they have steered the people of the land, so that those values can be recollected. Is there any disturbance? So that those values can be recollected time and again, generation after generation. So that is one aspect of common history. The reason we are bringing out these aspects of how the other aspect of history is the struggles that you have gone through. You have documented those struggles and you have documented about the people who have come forward in the struggles, in those struggles and have helped you tide over them. But there again, what we have to take forth in those struggles is what is the idea for which they fought. See, why are those struggles important? This we must appreciate Secretary Sir here for the trouble he has taken. We know when this poster got finalized and the effort that has gone behind the banner that is just behind us. It's behind us, literally behind all of us. These are the people behind all of us. He wanted to bring out the aspect, he and Honorable Governor, they discussed that when you talk about Ek Bharat, tell me something. Because this was a challenge for all of us for the last 3-4 days. We went through so many iterations. How can you show Ek Bharat? Ore Bharathate eppadi kaampinga? Number 2 naal போட்டு 6 session உங்களை பாவம் 100 நிமிஷம் we are making you sit and listen and even then we are only going to scratch the surface. How are you going to show it in one single image? What is the imagery can you take? Can you take the dances? Can you take the philosophers? Can you take the scientists? Can you take the saints? Can you take the temples, architecture marvels? Only that, if we showed you only the temples, you'll say, oh, only temples is what India is all about. But that is all an image can hold. Then what can you show? So then personalities. And what kind of personalities? The personalities who have stood for the idea of Bharatham. So these are all the people who have fought wars. Many of them are freedom fighters. They are kings before the British. See, when we say freedom fight,
freedom struggle starting from 1857. We don't go beyond before that. Sorry. Yeah.
Near Gamala, there was a statement to this effect. Security guard for it? No. He felt the land gave you certain values, certain ethos, certain culture, certain productivity. இந்த முழு கலாச்சாரம் இந்த பாரம்பரியம் இது நம்மளுக்கு வழி வழியா வந்துட்டு இருக்கு. அதை நம்ம விடாத வச்சிட்டு இருக்கணும்னு ஐடியா. Look at the larger idea that he had. Just like the dialogue yesterday in the drama, like பாத்தீங்களா? அதான் so so cumulatively adds up. நீங்க statistics படிச்சிருக்கீங்க cumulatively. அதே ஐடியா தான் இங்க, the larger idea that it is. So what did these people fight for? ஒரே பாரதம் உன்னத பாரதம். எங்க இருந்தாலும் சரி, but they all fought for the same idea. So late morning we had the great Tagore. Do you know what Tagore says about India? Do you know what Tagore says about India? It's actually syllabus, out of syllabus, but still. He calls, actually we saw this, the country is not territorial, it is ideational. மீதி இடத்துல territorial தான். Pakistan is territorial, Bangladesh is territorial, Nepal is territorial, Bhutan is territorial, Malaysia today is territorial. All territorial countries. Indian Rajya. Whereas India alone is ideational.
Check up the university, all of you can check up. In Thai language, Tamasat means Dharma Sastram. We don't have a university called Dharma Sastram in India, teaching Dharma. They have a university called Tamasat. And where did they start university from? People who went from Tiruchi, Chidambaram and all that. Not now, many hundred years back. And what do they sing there? Tirupavai, Tiruvambavai. That's what they all sing. Of course, they call it Teppavai, Teppapavai, something like that. That's all to the Thai language, the words have become in. If they say Tirupavai, Tiruvambavai, you won't understand because they say the same thing Tamil, but with a lot of Thai accent. So how our culture of Tirupavai, Tiruvambavai has gone to Thailand 1000 years back, and it's called Tamasat University. Look at how we have spread all over the world. Yesterday, Honorable Governor spoke about Bodhidharma. This is 500 years after that, it went to Thailand. Sorry, I keep interrupting. So she only says, I keep on saying so many more extra things out of syllabus. But this also interest to all of you.
So again, when we look at the idea of a land and what people have stood for. So we saw this Jambu Dvipam, people having the idea of the Jambu Dvipam, then Bharata Varsham and all that. But this is not just unique only to the people of this Bharata Varsham or Bharata Kandam. It is mankind's tendency to identify with something. And that is how you will find the idea of something called Bharata Mata and similar divinities for their lands all over the world. We are going to show you some beautiful similarity that connects us all across the globe. So we actually saw this beautiful planetarium show with our blue dot, the Earth. Of course, we spent more time on the planets outside the Earth. But on this Earth, we call it Bhuloka, and
Now look at this. I want to show you a concept here. We all நேத்து நம்ம தமிழ் தாய் வாழ்த்து சொன்னோம் இல்லையா எல்லாரும் ஆசியா அன்போட பண்போட மரியாதையோட எவ்வளவு அழகா சொன்னோம் எல்லாரும். ஸோ நம்மளுக்கு தமிழ் தாய் இருக்கா மாதிரி பக்கத்துல ஆந்திர பிரதேஷ் தெலுங்கானா அவங்களுக்கு யாரு தெலுங்கு தள்ளி.
தள்ளி மீன்ஸ் அம்மா.
அம்மா அம்மா பெரியம்மா பாட்டி படிச்ச தள்ளி. நீங்க வந்து கன்னட பண்ண அம்பே அம்மா. நம்ம மகாராஷ்டிரா போன என்ன வருது
மராட்டி ஆய்.
மராட்டி ஆய். குஜராத்ல போன என்ன வருது பா. அதனால கஸ்தூர் பா காந்தியோட பா பானே சொல்லுவாரு என்ன மரியாதையா அம்மா பா. நீங்க காஷ்மீரம் போங்க காஷ்மீர புறவாசினி உத்கலா. உத்கல வங்கா நம்ம சொல்றோம் இல்லையா நம்ம பாட்டுல உத்கலா. இது உத்கல ஜனனி. ஆக்சுவலி ஐ மெட் ஒன் ஆஃப் த ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் girls yesterday from Utkal. So I asked her, are you Utkal Janani? I don't know where she's somewhere there. So look at this. So Bango, look at this. Assam is I. Manipur Imma. So we have lot of regional matas who are all part of, cumulatively add up to the idea of Bharata Mata. They're not daughter, granddaughter, siblings. Together. The idea is togetherness. So it is not tani. It is component of one. So ஒரு உடம்புல எல்லா components. இது பெருசா கண்ணு பெருசா காது பெருசா மூக்கு பெருசா நாக்கு பெருசா எல்லாம் equal. Everybody has an angam in it to play. That's the beauty of it. So that's how we get the idea of Bharata Mata. Cumulatively adds up to all of these ideas put together. Individually எல்லா பிரதேசத்துக்கும் அந்த பிரதேச மாதாக்கு கௌரவம் இருக்கு. Cumulatively add up to the idea of Bharata. So it's not that Bharata Mata is 1950 கண்டுபிடிச்சாங்க 1847 கண்டுபிடிச்சாங்க. The idea exists in the land right through. And the Tamil also exists from Tonmudaatiya times. அதே மாதிரி தெலுங்கு தள்ளி ஒரு ஊர்லயும் அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கு. That's a larger idea. Now, where does this Bharata Mata fit in now? For Bharata Varsham you have Bharata Mata. Where does this Madam Bharata Mata fit in? That is what we'll see now. When you look at the earth, go back. When you look at the earth, what do you call earth? Bhumata. Yeah, Bhumata. She is also mother. Bhu is also mother. So you go back to idea of, so the Bhumila, there are components. Which is the component that ruled us? England ruled us. Do they have an England Mata? I'm asking, do they have an England Mata? Am I Manipuri Imma? So all of them cumulatively add up to the idea of Bharata Mata. And Bharata Mata in turn is a concept, it's a component of Bhumata. It's a component of Bhumata. And does Bhumata have other components the way she has Bharata Mata? Yes, Bhumata's other components we'll see. We were ruled by England. You think England is a very manly company? Of course, you had a queen now till recently, till a month back. But what the queen was too? She had a Mata in England called Britannia. Of course, not the bread and biscuit that you all Britannia. That's the idea that comes from. So they had a Britannia idea there. Look at this. So you had that there. What about you go to French? Then you go to France, you got Lady Liberty there. Then, otherwise you go to Egypt, Turkey. Look at everywhere you have the idea of motherland. Egypt, or mother of all. So the idea of mother is all the countries. So you go everywhere. So Turkey, again we have, look at this idea. In Anatolia, is there in Istanbul Museum now, they have the idea of a Mata. Very similar to us. See, look at that. Next. So this is there in Turkey also. You go to China, Huanin. You go to Japan.
Amma Teresu.
So you have Indonesia.
Then Mother Russia.
Actually, Subramania Bharatiyar comments about Mother Russia. So the idea of motherhood, you see, is across the land, including in Arabia. There are three divinities, three devis. Moon Devi, Arabia is also Moon Devi. Mannat. So it's there. So this concept, and now we come. So who is the Mata for USA? Anybody? Go back one slide. Statue of Liberty, she is a lady. So the idea of that motherhood is that, see, Germany is a fatherland, but still they also have a Germania. See that. So that is the idea all over the land we have. So it is not limited to Tamil Thai or Telugu Talli or Bharata Mata. It is all over the land we have this idea of motherhood, motherland. Look at so beautiful idea. So we are all connected. Inaikum. Bharata Mata, Pura Bhumike is connected. That is Inaikum. Now, so that's where the India idea comes from it. Now let us see this larger framework of things. Now, Bharata Mata is here. We have Pradesha Mata. Here we shown Tamil Thai here, painting. And we have each Gramam as a Devi. So, Grama Devata, Grama Devi. So, that is connect, every Nagaram and Gramam has a Devi. So, Devi is in turn connected to the Pradesha Mata. The Pradesha Mata is in turn connected to the Desiya Mata. The Desiya Mata is connected to Bhuma Devi. The Bhuma Devi is in turn connected to the Parasakti that yesterday Subramania Bharatiyar spoke about. Evlo per paadangile Sakti Bati.
Om Shakti, Om Shakti, Om. We had that song.
Om Shakti, Om Shakti. So that is, Subramania Bharati sitting here could speak about Om Shakti, Parashakti, of the universal Shakti. So it's a seamless connect. And this idea is we already saw in Manimegalai, Poombuhar, you have, what's the name of the lady, old lady? Tonmudati, the grand old lady of Tamil, Tonmudati. We saw the idea, isn't it? So it is there, Poombuhar. So Tamilham itself, look at the shape of Tamilham, Tamil Thai. This is a geographical shape, like a beautiful lady.
Smiling lady.
Smiling lady, isn't it? Look at the point Kalimar naturally becomes a nose. Look at the beauty of that lady. Geographically, we are endowed. This is what we need to appreciate. Anubhavam, the concept of it. And why is day for yesterday all of us had been to a planetarium to see the planets, the solar system. What did they say? Venus is for love and is a lady in Western idea.
Feminine, Mars masculine and feminine. Which is feminine in the solar system? Only Bhumi is feminine. Because only Bhumi can give Jeevan life. Other planets don't have Jeevan, so they are masculine.
But moon is connected with fertility. Crops grow because of the moon. Women's fertility cycle is linked with the moon.
Here, all of you women know what's the moon cycle. How many days is the moon cycle? What's the fertility cycle of a woman, of a mother? Have you ever thought connecting the two? That is your fertility cycle.
But yet,
you are part of Yerkai.
But yet we make moon man, only earth is feminine.
Look at the our sciences knew it very well to connect ourselves to every Grama Devata, to Pradesha Devata, to Desiya Devata, to and regional Devata. Look at the beauty of what we have done. And he is saying, actually Subramanian Bhattacharya, this slide will show you, he is saying, Bharata Mata gave a glance of her towards the Russia Mata. And the Shakti she got, she came up with a revolution. So the revolution that happened in Europe, I mean in Russia, was because of a glance between Bharata Mata to Russia Mata. That's in a poem of Bharatiyar. Look at how a poet is bringing out. So it's a Mata to Mata glance. So they energize each other. That is, see, if we realize this, we are so capable of realizing all these things. Please. And we'll show you, since Honorable Governor has come, we'll just take up one point to go back and re-show it. Yesterday we had the two Mardu brothers, right? So what is the Prakadanam they took? Mardu brothers. Jambu, so even though they are sitting in Kalayar Koil or Sivagangai or Tiruchirappalli Kotai, the proclamation was not for the Tamilagam. The proclamation was not for Bharat. The proclamation was not for Bharata Varsha or Bharatakanda. They proclaimed for Jambu Dvipam. Look at the large vision they had. That they wanted to become, which includes England. Because it includes England. So there was we are the rulers. So that is the idea we had of the oneness to it. Because so the Pragadam is of Jambu Dvipa Pragadanam, they made it. That's why they are, see, look at the vision we carry. And we are all their children. If we don't carry the vision of that largeness, I think we are only limiting ourselves. Next point, please.
So now we have, so this particular session is about how Ore Bharatam, we are Ore, we are one, that because we all have a common history. And we are seeing all that in these various facets. But how far back does this history go? How many years behind? See, we are able to say, yes, millennia, so many thousands of years and all that. But at least for some of them, can we peg them down and say exactly so many thousands of years ago or hundreds of years ago? Hundreds of years ago is easy because it's still in memory, recent memory. But what about how far back does it go? So for that, there are two texts which this land has considered historical. Two texts. We have had so many literature in all languages, but the entire civilization calls only two texts as historical. Can anybody name them?
They call it Itihasam. Which are the two Itihasam? Okay.
Which Ramayanam?
Which Ramayanam is Itihasam? What about our Kamban, great treatise he wrote? Tulsi, Goswami Tulsi, or Kalidas, many people like that, they are all Kavyam. Whereas Valmiki's alone is Itihasam.
Which is the other one?
Which is the other Itihasam? Mahabharatam. Whose Mahabharatam is Itihasam? Vyasa's Mahabharatam. Why? Why are only these two authors Itihasam and all others Kavyam, Mahakavyam? Anybody speak loud? Yes, please say, but speak loud. All should hear. First, so just because they are first two, they become Itihasam? No, seriously ask.
You actually said the second part, but
you said the second part, you went back. Why?
They were the first one to write it as it is.
Exactly.
As it is meaning what?
I mean, whatever happened.
No, again, go back. Fine tune it.
Reword it.
Reword
When you
it.
say as it is,
Not listen, sorry, not listen. Not listen.
You're there, almost there.
You're almost there,
They
but
were
not
there
there.
in the whole
Exactly.
history. Vyasa was also there and Valmiki. They were
First-hand
witness,
witnesses.
yeah.
They were living
Vyasa
there
was
with the
there
people.
and Valmiki was also there.
They are
during the
living.
thing.
See, it's like a cricket running commentary. They are physically present to see and write it. They didn't come 100 years later. They didn't come 200 years later. Suppose I write today about Robert Clive, visit to Madras. Is mine
Itihasam? No, because he lived 300 years ago. I could write from secondary and tertiary sources. Whereas those two alone were primary first-hand reports written by the people living at the time, people interacting with them. After all, Mahabharata was written by Vyasa, whose biological grandchildren are Pandava and Kaurava. He sees his own grandchildren fight it out. Which grandfather will not feel sad about it? So he is writing about his own grandchildren fighting in a battle. And here, in the case of Valmiki, he is the caretaker of Sita Amma and Lavakucha. Whom does he teach it to? Lava and Kucha, who go and recite it to Rama himself. So first-hand validation. So this is, so what does the word Itihasam mean? The word Itihasam, what does it mean? Idu, Ippadi, Nigandadu. It thus happened. Ye aisa hua. That is Itihasam. That's all Itihasam. Others are Puranam, the old stories which are still valid. So you're bound by. So did anybody from Ramayanam times come down south? Where does he come down to? Ramanadapuram, Rameswaram, that's how you get the term. Did he leave any artifacts back? Setu Palam. They left back a Setu Palam. We have a film on Setu. This is a 7-minute film and a 35-minute film of ours on Setu, which was actually launched in Delhi by Bharatham, His Excellency Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Please watch the film later. It was actually released in Delhi. Thank you so much. And you know what he told me after watching the film? He told me after watching the film, in Rameswaram, all those places, Tirtham, I put newspaper as a boy. I used to run in the morning and put paper, so I know all these places, he said. That's what he told me. After he finished the podium, he said, so I was so touched. That is, so this morning, I was coming and seeing Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's statue. That's a dialogue I remember. He said, I have put newspaper in those areas. So look at that. So that is that. And the other is, anybody from Mahabharatam, Krishna may not have come to Tamilagam. But anybody else came? Anybody else came to Tamilagam in the Mahabharata period? Pandavala, Vartar Nichim, specific mention, and one person grandson came. See, this bridge is built here, is there, it's all the film, I don't have time to show all that, so let's just move on to the idea there. Okay, this is again mentioned by Al-Buruni and all of them, it's there. Many people have come, all the data is available in our book and our film free to watch on Ramasetu. So, Sahadeva, Nakulan Sahadevan along with Ghatotkaja came to Ramasetu. You know that? So Sahadeva stayed back in Rameshwaram to do Dhyanam. Ghatotkaja crossed over Ramasetu and went to meet his cousins, the Rakshasa kings of Lanka. Because Ghatotkaja was a Rakshasa Vamsa. So he looks at him as cousins. Who? Vibhishna's descendants. So he walks over Ramasetu and goes there to meet them and come. This is recorded in Mahabharata.
See here, in Sabha Parva, Digvijaya Parva, it is there. See, one side we are saying yes, Itihasa, because these authors themselves, in their text, they have used the word that it is Itihasa, that they are writing what they saw happen. You know, incidentally, today, which is the text that is treated, text or the period which is treated as history for modern history from Western perspective? Who is the person who is treated as the benchmark for modern history? Christ, even before Christ. Benchmark for modern history. Alexander, right? Alexander, 323, 325 BCE, before Common Era. Alexander is considered as the figure for benchmark of modern history. You will see how, I mean, if we have time and sometime we can do this, you will see the kind of problems this benchmark has created for Indian history, Bharatham history. But leave that alone. Now this Alexander who is treated as a benchmark, of course the year is accepted, but his activities, what all he did, the chronicling of Alexander's life and his history, did it happen at the same time when he lived? He did have people, Megasthenes and so on, but the actual historical records that Europe is depending upon came much, much later. Almost 200, 300 years later is when Alexander's lifetime is actually documented, and that serves as the history for the whole of the globe today. Because wherever the Europeans went, they used this documented as the reference to peg history of every other land that they have visited.
அவங்க ரெண்டு வாட்டி பெக் யூஸ் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. The peg is only ஆணி அடிக்கிறது, not the கோப்பையிலே ஒரு குடியிருப்பு, as Kannadasan spoke. Okay, those who got the joke, fine. Okay, fine. Jokes apart. Okay, getting back to this point, she used the word Megasthenes. Do you know Megasthenes came to the Pandya kingdom? He traveled to Pandya kingdom. Do you know what he observes in the Pandya kingdom? He writes, it is strange that Pandya kingdom had a women ruler. In 325 or 322, 321 BCE, and the top administrative posts were handled by women, and very capably at that. This is when, before women were given any rights, so-called rights in Europe and America. America is yet to be found for the Europe. America, people lived, civilization lived there. But look at the idea. So, Pandya kingdom was ruled not only by a queen, the administrative posts were ably held by a women. What did I tell you yesterday about women's management yesterday? Anybody? Water bodies were collectively owned by whom? By the women. They were managing very well. The moment you gave it to the men, what happened? Mismanagement. The moment, so it was, as long as it was the it was managed well. The moment the water bodies in the CPWD Act were given to the men, it became mismanaged. So let us realize that women are capable of handling and managing things very well. So they are the Shakti. They are the holding force. They are the binding force. With this, let us respect our women as being eminently capable and competent. That's one of the take-homes for us. Just singing Tamilta is not sufficient. We have to recognize our women's strength. Very strong, very capable, competent. And I've said this in many stages. I'll say it here also. In our work in BharathGyan, she is a greater scholar, bigger scholar, and a better person. Not once, I've said this in multiple stages. As a person better, as a scholar better, both. I have no hesitancy in saying it. I've said this 100 stages openly. Thank you. So that is what you should recognize it.
So here he is saying the Pandyans seem to prefer women for senior administrative posts. Strange. See the word strange also, because they are not used to it. It's saying this one thought. See, it may be shown. See, Amar Chitra Katha is something that is really shaped generations. Much of what the curriculum couldn't teach has been parallelly taught by these works, and they are not just comics, they are just illustrated form of literature. And in this you can see this one small blurb saying so much. The word, just one single word, strange, is enough to convey that in Europe it has not been so. Okay, so this apart, so the idea what we have to...
Can I digress for one moment? I want to say some point. So people talk about women's empowerment. I've said this in many women's conferences. I'm the only male member. So I always say ladies and ladies, because there's no male member in the audience. So I always said they say women's empowerment, feminist. I said the idea itself, empowerment, is wrong. The moment you say empowerment, there is somebody else to give you power. So willingly saying there is a man to give the women the power. That means the man holds the strings. He is a sutradhar. I said no. The women are innately powered by themselves. They hold the power. A man doesn't have to grant it to him. So I am against the idea of feminist. I am against the idea of empowerment. Look at the word we have. Okay? What is a woman in a marriage called? All the languages, including Tamil, Bahasa, Malaysia, etc. It is Saha Dharmini. Saha means complementary. Saha, complement, one who helps each other, Sahayam. Whereas, what do we call equal? Sama, same. She is not Samadharmini. She is not same. She is not asking for equal rights. If you say equal rights, that means you have to give her the right. Who are you to give her the right? Normal. Who are you to give her the right? She is innately by herself got the skill, the capacity. When you say family, when do you become family? Only when you have a wife. Till then, Tani Maram. You are a lone tree, Tani Maram. Only when you get a spouse, you have become family. So it's when she. So the idea is that, so it is Sahadharmini, complementary, not equal. She is not Samadharmini. There is no equality. She is superior. The idea of Sahadharmini. And when Mahathir Mohamad in Malaysia begins his speech 20 years ago, how does he address people? How does he start? How did our Muthuramalinga Devaraya start his speech? Chenna today 7A poetry. Iraiva poetry. Speech. Please look at this. Read this. That's how he starts his speech. In Congress Party. So those days, freedom fighters speech he starts. Not the political Congress, but the freedom fighters. That's how he starts his speech. How did Mahathir Mohamad start his speech? Sodara Sodari. What is it? Sahodara Sahodari. Because Alahana Tamil Varta. That's how in Malaysia he started his speech. Who is that? Saha Uddara. Saha Uddari. What does that Uddara mean there? Saha Pakatla.
Saha is Pakatla.
Complementary.
So Saha Uddara. So what does that mean? Uddara is womb. Womb. So somebody, so who is your brother, who is your sister? Somebody who has shared that womb of your mother, right? Who has come from the same womb. So Saha Uddara, Saha Uddari. So Sahodara, Sahodari, Sodara, Sodari.
Sodara, Sodari in the Bahasa language, B-A-H-A-S-A, Bahasa. We call it Basha, Bashai. In Malaysia they call Baha, they add an A in front, that's all, Bahasa. Sohodara, Sahodari.
Parallel, yes.
Parallel.
Saha is parallel.
Also.
But
Uttara, the Uttara
parallels
idea is,
don't meet. The problem with parallels is they don't converge and they don't meet. Saha are intertwined. You know, I want you to, okay, this is just a little bit away, but then this is innate Bharata ethos. I just want you all to do something. First, all of you, just a small exercise with your hand. You don't even have to get up. Just shake your hands like this. Just loosen up all your fingers. Okay? Now, try to bring them together. Okay? Such that now, this is your right hand and your left hand. The two hands, let the fingers introduce themselves to each other and let them come and touch each other. Okay? Touch. Right? They are introducing themselves. They are coming in contact, aren't they? Now, try to go further.
push hard.
Go further.
Push inside.
That's all, both hands equally. Right?
Tight. Push. Tallu.
Now, try to bring them together. Are you able to bring them together? What do you see in between?
Gaps.
Right?
Water.
You're not able to take them together. Now, take it away. Forget all the Western view. Think of
That's-
Bharatham.
No equal.
Think of Bharatham, okay? Loosen your fingers. Now bring them together such that they don't meet head on, but they fill the gaps. Right?
Fully take it
They
inside.
both meet. Are they in contact? Absolutely, 100% contact. Now, just bend down, hold it like this and look inside. What do you see? Do you see gaps? What do you see? A nest. You see a beautiful nest. Right? This is Bharatham's idea of gender complementary. Not gender equality. This is gender complementary. That is Saha. We have never believed in gender equality, inequality. We have always said they are gender complementary, which is why for every male divinity we have a consort, a female consort. And together they complement, so they are not parallel. They converge. They not only converge, they intertwine. They complement. They are more than parallel. Because you use the word parallel, I was really tempted. I mean, otherwise this thing would not have come. Thank you so much for bringing up that word. And you know, it was a good
See, every time
reprieve as well.
So look at this is so in a minute, any time will we all speak about equality or complementary? Complementary. Will you all say mythology or itihasam? So it's not mythology. It is kannala பார்த்தது எழுதியிருக்கிறது. It is itihasam. இது இப்படி நிகழ்ந்தது. ஐசா ஹுவா. It does happen. So we have, because as per Western historians, anything before Alexander 326 BCE in India is prehistoric. Because Alexander came to India and gave us Hellenistic culture. Hellenistic meaning Greek culture. Greek culture he gave us. Otherwise we were all Katimirandi. வெள்ளையன் வந்து தான் நம்மளுக்கு வந்து கலாச்சாரம் சொல்லி கொடுத்தான். அதுக்கு தான் நம்மள காட்டுமிராண்டி. That is slide 1 he says, page 10. Page 11, what does Elphinstone write? That's Elphinstone Theatre, Elphinstone Road, Elphinstone this we have in Bombay and everywhere. Elphinstone. But you don't really, Elphinstone said page 10, before Alexander came and gave you culture, Hellenistic culture, you are all barbarians. Page 11 he writes, there were 1,500 cities, prosperous cities in between Hyphasis and Hydaspes river, which we showed yesterday. If you are Katimirandi, how can you have 1,500 cities between just two rivers? Prosperity teeming. He is self-contradictory there. Today we think Elphinstone's history as a great history. Every page is contradicting there if you look at it. So there is nothing called prehistoric. We have got to read our text from our, see, we have to see it from our drishtikon, not from somebody else's perspective. But see from our perspective.
And so the point was, while these people say it is itihasa, it is history, in their own words they are saying, you also find corroborating evidence. Valmiki said, I am writing history, right? And in Ramayana you find Setu, mention of the Setu, the building of the Setu. And yesterday when we discussed the boundaries, the extent of Bharat, what did we say? The survey of India at that point in time, they took this as the southern extent of, look at this, survey of India, their logo in 1767, what do they call it? A Setu Himachalam. So, a Setu, from Setu to Himachalam is Bharatham. Right?
So there's a landmark.
So,
Landmark built 7,000 years ago, or then 6,800 years ago. Then when they came up the logo.
Setu, which is coming in Ramayana, an event which happened then, look at it in Mahabharatam. Look at this statement here, this entire verse here in Mahabharata, the verse number is given. It is saying the Nala Setu, it is popular and it is protected during Mahabharata times. So they are saying it's popular on earth as Nala's bridge, mountain-like, is sustained out of respect for Lord Rama's command. So during Mahabharata, he is writing, Vedavyasa is writing, that they are coming down. We see Gatotkacha, Sahadeva and all coming down, right? So they are coming up to Setu. And so the version, the description is that they are describing the Setu there and they are saying the people of this region. Which region? Around Rameshwaram, Tamilagam, they are protecting this Ramasetu out of respect for Rama, and under Rama's command they are still respecting it. Ramayana happened and this is in Mahabharata time, and he is speaking about this bridge being protected by the people of Tamilagam. Who are the people, who is one of the prominent families of Ramnath,
Yes,
Rameshwaram?
what is the title of the Raja of Ramnath? What's his title that he holds? You don't call Raja of Ramnath as Raja of Ramnath. What do you call him? Setu Mannar, Setupati. So he is the Kavalan of the Setu. He is a Setu Kavalan. Look at that. A bridge. Who constructed this bridge? It was constructed at Rama's command. Yes. It was constructed at his command, yes, at his request, to go get back his hijacked wife, kidnapped wife. But who built it? Who are the architect and who built it? These are two questions I am asking. Nala and Neela brothers were the architects who built it. Nala and Neela, two brothers were the architects who built it. And what do they say? When they are unable to build it, they are struggling to build it, they offer to their king, Sugriva. They don't go to Rama directly, they go to their king Sugriva and say, we are Vishwakarma, we are Mayasura clan. Who is Mayasura? Anybody? One of the great Mayasuras? Huh? So who is the Mayasura's daughter who married Ravana? Mandodari. Mandodari appa vandu Mayasuran. So Ravana's father-in-law is a Maya. Mayasura. So actually the palace, that Lanka that was so beautifully built, was built by Mayan for Ravana to rule, for his Mapla to rule. It was built and given. That was, so he says, I have come by that lineage, I have learnt by that methodology. So I have the skill to build it. Give me the permission to build it, to architect it. So Nala, Neela, it's there in our film very clearly, Nala, Neela. So they say, I am born of this. I am born of the loins of Vishwakarma. So I have learned the skills to build it. Give me the power to carry the task out. And they built it in 5 days. This is all in Ramayana. So they are the qualified, certified, experienced, trained civil engineers of those days. They ask for a job order and carry out the job order. And who builds it actually? The Vanara. Vanara are from where? Kishkinda. Where is Kishkinda? In Dravida Nadu. Yesterday we had the national anthem. So we call the whole area Dravida Nadu. So it was carried out by the people of this land, this region. So and these Nala and Neela were citizens of Kishkinda. They were citizens of their ruler Sugriva. They were people who ruled near Hampi, Dravida Nadu. So whose engineering marvel is this? It's an engineering marvel of the Dravida land, Dravida people. Built for a noble king who came from Ayodhya, who had lost his wife. So who built it? See, and when our Honorable Prime Minister came to Mahabalipuram 4 years back and got the CM, the Xi Jinping, today Mahabalipuram is the most visited tourist, not even Taj Mahal. I'm sure all of you would have read the papers last week or a couple of weeks. So what? So that event has been like that. The oldest man-made structure, as you can see from space, is our Nala Setu. Rama doesn't call it Rama Setu. Rama calls it, when he wins and goes back in Pushpa Vimana back after the victorious battle with Ravana, he goes back flying, he shows it to Sita Amma. And what did she say? It was so difficult to build, it was built by Nala and Neela, so I am calling it Nala Setu. So Rama gives it the name Nala Setu. And later people Setu Bandhan, bonds, Bandhan, bond, bondage, band, Setu Bandhana, binding two lands together, Ilangai and Tamil. So it's Bharatham. So it's called Bandhana. Then we call it Ramasetu. It's all in Saraswati Mahal Library, Tanjavur, the documents are there. The idea is to say that. So you see, so if we have to, again, what did I say yesterday? We have to know it, we have to own it, and we have to flaunt it. We have to say, this is our architectural marvel. Come and see it, all of you. People go to Great Wall of China. Great, no doubt about it. This is a 30-kilometer bridge. Today submerged because of sea rise has risen up by 3 meters over 7,100 years. See, so obviously, see, as polar caps melt, sea rises. So we have sea rise, so it's now 10 feet submerged in water. But small boats can go, people can walk up to here some distance, see it. Okay? So it's our national civilizational heritage. If Mahabalipuram can today become a tourist site that is 1,400 years old, this is 7,100 years old. Yeah, it's our product. We can see it actually when we both were coming some 15 years back from Colombo to Chennai flying, morning 7 a.m. we flew over this. And you know, when we saw the bridge, full flight. Actually, we are flying over the Setu and coming. It was so literally pull-archifying. I can't experience, so it is ours. If we don't claim it, some matran will come and claim, some place will come and claim it. So we have to own it. It's our short film, you can watch.
Audio? Volume?
Audio, please. Sir, audio.
Can you play this or the other one?
Audio, please, sir.
Ramayana lives as the epic tale of victory of good over evil. But this battle would never have been fought had Lord Rama and his Vanar Sena or his army of monkeys not crossed the sea and reached Lanka. Lanka, today's Sri Lanka, is an island. It was impossible to reach this island without a land connection. The legend says that the army of monkeys built a bridge for everyone to cross over. Thousands of years later, space images taken by NASA reveal a mysterious ancient bridge in the Park Strait between India and Sri Lanka. Ramayana says that yantra or mechanical devices were used by the Vanaras or the monkeys to transport and pile trees, then huge boulders, and finally smaller stones to create a causeway. It took 5 days and 10 million Vanaras under the supervision of architects Neil and Null to build this bridge. The dimensions of the bridge when it was constructed was 100 yojanas in length and 10 yojanas in breadth, making it a ratio of 10:1. The bridge from Dhanushkodi in India to Talaimanar in Sri Lanka, as measured in present times, is approximately 35 kilometers in length and 3.5 kilometers in breadth, an exact ratio of 10:1. Surprised? There is more. Even today, some floating stones are found on the coastal regions of Rameshwar. Science has not been able to explain this phenomena so far. The study of oceanography suggests that Ram Setu is 7,000 years old.
So you can see the idea that it is our product and we should own it and then we should make it a huge tourist attraction for people to come. Because people go to Great Wall of China, they think it's a wonder of the world. Our Ramasetu built in 5 days is also wonder of the world. Mega wonder. And we celebrate blunder of the world. Which is blunder? Liliter of Pisa is a blunder because soil management illa. You have thousands of areas, 7,000 areas we have in Tamil Nadu. Those are wonder. Chain tank system. We should claim our heritage, inheritance. Not the gold and silver and the chain and the ring that you get for your grandmother and grandaunt is alone your inheritance. Or your patram of the house. These are all our inheritance we should claim back. And own it and flaunt it.
So we just saw about how what we call Itihasa has got geography in it, and there is collaboration across time, and this Setupati, I just showed you some coins, right? They were Setupati coins. So what in Mahabharata is being protected as the Setu you've had dynasty to protect it, not just on Bharatham side. You have people protecting it on Sri Lankan side as well for a very long time.
Across the bridge, because half the bridge belongs to Ilangai, Lanka. So the Yalpana Arya Chakravarti Raja, the Arya means noble. Yalpana Arya Chakravarti Raja, he is also what? Setu. His insignia itself was Setu. So he was also Setupati. Who was he? Yalpana Arya Chakravarti. Look at that.
So this is a history and a geography. This Setu is actually a beautiful, I am getting goosebumps here. This Setu is the Bandhan for Bharat. It is binding our entire civilization. Because what the North India is talking about in terms of the literature that is happening, and the king from that region, he is supported, and in all his, even more than half of Ramayana, I mean the focus itself is all over here in the south. Kishkinda and their travels through Rameshwaram and the fight in Sri Lanka, in Lanka then. So all of it happened here, and the evidence for that is here. Whatever, see, we don't have the time to show you, but there's a beautiful corroboration between what the text says, and that is what we have actually made as animation. What the text is saying as how the bridge was built, and like we showed you the dimension, everything, it is still you can corroborate it with the actual Setu over there. And there are some modern studies which have been done which show that whatever the text is saying about trees having been used to build, all of that is still, it's part of that structure.
So when we actually did our work on historical Rama and Rama Setu, the Sri Lankan government invited us because they said half of Setu is ours. Come and do research on Ravana, because if you say Rama is historical and 7,100 years ago, which is there in a film, please watch. They said prove Ravana also to be historical, because they said you can't have one person historical and another person mythological. You have to prove Ravana also to be historical. So we went to Lanka, stayed in Lanka for some period of time and researched in Lanka. Actually then the peak war was going on, and we went in the Sri Lankan government jeep with all police escort into the forest to do research. That episode, that was like that, sitting ducks we were literally. So there's so much evidence to prove, and there's one more thing, key thing.
Yeah. So there are these kind of connecting aspects, and if you take Mahabharatam, let's look at this now. So this is in Purananuru. See, you will find corroborations in Tamil texts of people, kings of the south, who went and fought in the Mahabharata. Likewise, in Mahabharata, which is an independent text, independently authored text, and we have seen it is an itihasa, and it was documented then and there when it happened. They are talking about the kings of the south having come and helped them in the war. Look at both sides they are talking. So this is a historic event, and they are both corroborating each other independently. So here Purananuru is talking about this Chera king, Udayan Seraladan, who actually went, so it is praising generosity and humane qualities of a Chera king, Perinjotru Udayan Seraladan, who remained neutral during the war and fed both the armies. And this is in Purananuru 2, which is talking about war and food. They are talking about something they are not bothering about Ramayana or Mahabharata, that is not the focus. They are talking about this war. We will see in the third session how it unites the Bharatam, people of Bharatam as a Ore Bharatam and Inaikum Bharatam in the thought about how the conduct of war should happen and how it is common all across India. That we will see it in the third session, but here I want to draw your attention, this Purananuru 2, when it talks about war and food, it opens up itself as what is war ethics. That is how it starts. And it is talking about the different kings and how they have held up that ethics. And in that context, it is talking about this Chera king saying that you went and during Mahabharata you supplied to two warring sides, neutrally. You were neutral. So even though it was war, you didn't take sides because you wanted to feed both the people who had to fight.
Now, it is a song by Bharatratna MGR of Annamitta Kai. How many of you heard that song? Annamitta Kai. It's an old song, right? Back on it era. So, Tamilagam is an Annamitta Kai. Sharan King in Mahabharata war has fed people. Isn't it? So look at this as a continuity. So, நம்ம வந்து யார் வந்தாலும் உபசரிப்போம், அன்னம் கொடுப்போம், சாப்பிட்றதுக்கு இல்லையா? We will see the continuity of that, what we have shared. When you do it, when you have prosperity in the land, when you all the water bodies full, then you can feed people continuously. If you don't have money, can you feed people? You may have the intention but not will feed people. You must have water, save it properly, utilize it through the year, have 3 bogam of food, then excess of food and feed everybody. That is the whole idea. So, not only that, in the Swayamvar.
Now this is in Mahabharata. So this is in the Mahabharata text, they are referring to the Pandya king. And they are saying that you had, when they are talking about, describing Draupadi's Swayamvar, so at that context they are talking about the Pandya king also having gone there for the Swayamvara.
Look at that. So the connection is across regions.
So then again in Mahabharata you find Pandya king. So this is Malaya Dwaja. He is the Pandya Raja. He went and fought the war. So he was there as part of the war, and during the war there is one instance where he even wounds Dronacharya. So that is mentioned in the Mahabharata text. So the Pandya, the Chera Chora Pandya that we talk about, we are
so
still talking about them from 1000, 2000 years and looking at some of the artifacts and the temples they are built in this period and celebrating them for it rightfully. But how far back do they go? How ancient? We can say Tamiltai, Tonmudati is one side, Poombohar is there. The problem for us with the Tamil history is that we have these great descriptions, but we don't have enough data to date them, to anchor them in the timeline of history as we relate to today. How are ancients related to? They were well anchored. They had no problems. It is our conflicting mind today which accepts history in the form of a timeline that is described as part of a Gregorian calendar timeline. Common era, before Common era, or AD, BC. That is how we know history. So only if I tell you that so many thousand years BCE or CE, you are able to relate to time. You are not able to relate to time otherwise, which is why you are encouraged, which is why we were very particular that you should have a visit to the planetarium before we start this session. 2 reasons. One, it will open up your mind. When you look at the sky, it is all of you, you are all going to become parents. Some of you are already. You will become parents. Please, when you encourage your young ones, when they are young, to start observing the skies. Nothing like it to open up their mind and their thinking process. And 2, to also show you how our ancients actually kept time. Time is not your clock here or on your cell phone or on your computer, the digital numbers that you see, nor is time the calendar that is there on your wall with numbers as dates. That is the problem today actually with calendar. It has become numbers on the wall that you tear every day. It is countable. Calendar you think is time is counting. Calendar is not, time is not counting. Time is connecting.
Actually, I'll tell you example. Some 7, 8, 10 years back, we were actually in a forest in Bengaluru with a group of people like you. So we just asked them, what time is it? What month is it? I said, no cell phone, no seeing forts, nothing. Just tell me what month is it or what time is it. Most of them were lost. I said, the month is there in the sky. If you see the sky, you know what month it is. That is your calendar. Today, because we're also stuck up on TV screens, we don't know that, and this calendar on the wall, we don't know what is the calendar in the sky. Okay, I'll ask you a question. Shall I speak about Tamraparni or later? Tamraparni. Good, okay. So I'm just going ahead of one syllabus. That'll come in the evening session. Okay. The idea is that you see across time we have different things who have taken part in both.
So the point is the connecting, the time is actually a connection with the skies. That is how you keep track of time. That is how this civilization and many of the ancient civilizations have been keeping track of. So for the Tamilagam, this our region, our land here, for our history, for which we are not able to find references and datable references that go beyond 2000, 2500 years, what helps? The texts from the north, like Mahabharata, Ramayana, Itihasa, which were authored by Valmiki and Vedavyasa, they contain, see, one of the very unique aspects of these Indian texts is that they contain astronomical references. So, which is actually time references. If today you were to write 11th October 2022, instead of writing that, what they have said is, this is a day where Saturn is here, Jupiter is there, Mars is here, Moon is rising in this constellation. That is how they have described the time. And mind you, that is so much more unique, because the 10th October comes every year. So unless I give 2022, you won't know. And 2022, then I have to say CE or BCE. And then which is the point of reference? Which is BCE, which is CE, what divides it? But if I say Jupiter here, Saturn here, Mars here, the combination is very, very unique. It doesn't repeat itself for thousands of years. When you take all the planets and the entire configuration per se into consideration, it's a very unique combination.
See, you used our Gregorian calendar some 3-4 minutes back. Because it's Pope Gregory in 1552 gave us this calendar, recorrected a calendar for the Vatican purpose, and then removed the earlier calendar called Julian calendar, which has a lot of leap year and all, so many inconsistencies had creeped in. So he created, so what we use today in commerce is called the Gregorian calendar that we use. Whereas we didn't depend on any of these calendars that were given by any of our people, the humanity. People are born out. We depended and solely and rightfully on the calendar. The sky is, because the earth is moving in the sky. Where is this earth? Where is this earth? It is part of that sky. இதோ நம்ம வந்து நேத்து நீ நான் பேசியிருந்தோம். இந்த பூமியே is in that sky. We are part of that. Look at the beauty of it. So we are not somewhere outside. As the Bhumi is so strong and big and we are here, the sky is so far, we are in that. That is what we need to realize, isn't it? So look at this. So what is the clock we had? We had the sky as the clock. And what is the see, like how we have a clock dial, the nakshatra were 27 and the hands were this. Okay? So, and which are the hands? The visible sun and the moon and the planets were the hands that moved in the sky. So, just can you go back one slide, please?
That's there in historical Krishna.
Okay. Just go back once, please. Go back one slide. No. Go back one slide, please. Go back to Rama Krishna, one of them. Please, I'll just explain because it needs a little, one more minute explanation for us to understand it better. That's all. Close that. Go back to either one of them. Go back one slide, please. See, we see, how do we see a clock? We see 12 units and 3 hands. So we keep time only based on this. So that the time is only limited to 12 hours. After you have 12 hours, you have to recalibrate. That's all your time is, only 12 hours. So that's what we are now using.
You need something external. After 12 hours, for 10 o'clock, you have to now open the window, move the curtain and see is it daylight or night to know whether it's 10 in the morning or 10 at night. So it's not unique. Every 12 hours, you need some external thing. And similarly, if you see a date, 10th of the month, 10th day of the month, then again you need some other tracker which tells you, oh, this is January, February, March, April. Without, if I had moved this, you would lose track. Whereas, if you are relying on the sky, anytime you go out, you see this is the moon phase, then you automatically know which day of the month it is. And when a particular moon phase, and the moon is at this point in the sky, you know how many hours has gone past after sunrise or before sunset and so on. Similarly, when you see the star where the moon is, you know which kind of a month it is. You don't need anything else. The moon and the star is enough to tell you. So that is how, and when you start adding pointers like the planets further, you don't need planets to know the time of the day or the year. You only need your sun. Sun, you can't use it as a reference because, why? Why can't you use sun as a reference? You use sun as a reference for hour during the day. But you can't tell the month or anything with the sun. Can you tell anybody why? Can anybody guess why? Perfect, Varshini. Very good. So you cannot see stars in the brilliance of the sun. It blocks everything else. Whereas in the presence of the moon, you can see everything. So you use moon as the marker for the month and so on. So, but if you add planets in addition to this information, then you are creating a marking and pegging, as we say, a unique moment in history. And that is what has been done in some of the texts in Ramayana and Mahabharata.
You all know permutation, combination, maths. It doesn't repeat itself. Yeah, math, all of you, many of you math students. Similarly, how many of you have Aadhaar card, thumb impression? Why? Because each of you unique. Like every date, every moment, every hour is unique. Doesn't repeat itself. That's the beauty of it. And this is what all our Rishi, Muni, Samyar, all of them saw the night sky. And they recorded in different parts of the land what they observed. Which is unique moment every day with the star movement, which is what in Mahabharata alone you have 150 such observations. And in similarly Ramayana you also have at least 700 directly to see. We just take one for Krishna, one for Rama because of paucity of time. Others all are in the film for you to watch fully. We just take Krishna's birth and then go to similar Rama's birth. See, we all know it is Janmashtami, Gokulashtami celebrate, right? Jayanti, Sri Jayanti. Jayanti means a star. Jayanti does not mean only birthday. Jayanti means a star configuration that he was born in. That's what it means. Okay. So you see the Ashtami moon when he goes, that again is there. So look at this. So with this, using something called planetarium software, we can date Krishna's birth to midnight of 27th July 3112 BCE. That is, he was born about 5,100 years ago. We can precisely, it's called something as a field called archaeoastronomy. Why do you use archaeoastronomy? Astronomy, archaic, old, archaeology, old. So we call archaeoastronomy. One of the early people who coined 20 years back. So we use the term to come up with archaeoastronomy to give a date to event in history. So what are we saying now? The Chera Chola Pandya that we have in Bharatham, Tamilham, are not 1500 years, 2000 years, but if they fought in the Mahabharata war, you have been having dynasties for 5000 years. You are pushing back our history by another 2500 years now. Well, otherwise they could not have fought the Mahabharata war. You know, archaeology is limiting us now. The archaeology has to catch up with modern science.
Two aspects to astrology.
We are not talking about astrology. We are talking only astronomy, Ganita astronomy. We are not talking about Phalita Jyotisha at all. We are not talking about astrology at all. Only astronomy.
And archaeology, there are two aspects which limit us. One is, yes, there are newer techniques because sometimes things which are buried deep down, you need newer ways to get it out, identify where it could be. All of that, that is one thing. Technology itself will limit archaeology to some extent. So as newer sciences come, they have to be deployed. Point number two, archaeology is also limited by the fact that we are a continuous civilization. This civilization has been living in this land. Many people say that, oh, if Rama were there, why is his palace not there? Why is the kitchen or the utensils or those things not there, or Krishna's various artifacts? It's hard to find because those cities where they have lived are cities which are still highly populated. People have been living there. Tell me, in your land, many of you are living in your family same land, right? Is that the same house in which your great-great-great-grandfather lived? You have inherited that land. But the house you are living in, you have built and rebuilt, your parents built
Remodeled.
it. After 100 years, your child may rebuild that house, right? So that is the same with all these lands like Ayodhya and Mathura or any other places here, Chera, Chola, Pandya. We will never find their dwellings and so on. Because people have been living there, they have remodeled it, they have built over and over it. It's a continuous civilization.
But why do you find the Setu alone undisturbed available? Because it has now, the sea level has risen, it's gone underwater, so you are finding it undisturbed and available for you.
It's the same like how people celebrate today one of the archaeological artifacts, the pyramids. Why are the pyramids available today? Because they are in the desert.
Gizeh city is there, the Cairo city has moved, so that is now left untouched for people to go, because it's too huge to be broken down.
And it is also a very dry climate, so it has been quite
The
intact as
desert
well.
has kept it dry. The hot desert has kept it dry. So
That is why you find pyramid, otherwise even they would have got lost. Had it been a continuous civilization, over time even that would have got destroyed.
See, the word pyramid, actually I was just telling Honorable Governor last year when they were all doing the show here, the word, you mentioned the pyramid twice. The word pyramid is actually a Greek term, which has got 400 years antiquity or 500 years antiquity. What is a pharaonic term used by the Egyptians themselves for the pyramid, you know? It's Mru, M-R-U, Mru, which comes from our Indian Bharatham word Meru, Sumeru, Meru Parvatam. So, the pyramids are Meru. Pyramid is a Greek term, pyramid, P-Y-R-E, pyramid, pyramid.
So, the point we are trying...
So, connect between Bharatham and Egypt you see there very clearly. That's a different story, a different day we can do. We have that for an hour or two.
So, the point we are trying to make here is, if you look at it independently, you can date the events of Mahabharata to all these kind of dates, which is more than 5,000 years ago.
Now,
And
did some king from Dwaraka come to Tamilagam and rule Tamilagam, being part of Tamilagam? Yes. Our Sangam text very clearly speak about it. We'll tell you. Here in Purananur, it speaks about the Tamil Velir kings. Look at that. Here the fort.
Velir kings, Nagarkoil,
Okay.
Ai kingdom, the Ais who ruled very, very prosperous time.
Padmanabhapuram. So what is it saying? That the Chera king of the 49th generation from Tuvarai. Tuvarai meaning Tamil Dwaraka. Tuvarai, he ruled as a Chera king. The 49th generation who came down from Tuvarai, Dwaraka, and he ruled as a Chera king as Kannan. That's why in Tamil you have Kannan so popular.
So you call
Kanna,
Krishna
Kannan.
as Kannan. More than, you don't say Krishna so much as you say Kannan.
Look at the connect now. This is in Purananur. Look at the connect very clear. So you have connects in Ram. In Ramayana you have a connect also for Rama as an example. That means what? When you give an example, what does it mean? It's already commonly known to people. Only then you take it as an example. If it's not a commonly known thing, you won't take an example. So Rama, Sita, Hanuman, they are all commonly known in Tamil literature. To be taken as example in Sangam literature itself as a reference point. See here, in Agananur, Purananur, all that you find mentioned about Rama from an example perspective. Not from a descriptive perspective. That means it's already known knowledge. Only you will take an example. No, Rama Setu is not mentioned. But it's mentioned in a lover's tale. That's the beauty of it. When you say Rama Setu, no, it's not mentioned. Mentioned in this perspective. Look at the beauty. So we find a very intrinsic connect. Inaikum Bharatham is very clearly there in Itihasa also. Extremely clearly. So we want to show that. And so, having said this, we'll just tell you one slide. It's there in our book, Historical Rama, these slides. Those who want to refer to it, the books are there. To please refer to it there. Just one slide. So, we are placing Krishna in 3112 BCE. Similarly, using the same archaeoastronomy, placing Rama in 5114 BCE. Just last one slide. So, we are showing a 7,100 year connect across Bharatham. We can go even more back, but because of data in archaeoastronomy, this is the present limit we have been able to go to. Probably in a decade later, we can even go further. Because look, connection of unbroken connection. So look at this Rama. Rama is Navami. So 5114 BCE. these are all dates come up using the present software, which is also done by Samikannu Pillai of Madras University. Joseph Stanley Samikannu Pillai, just check out. Ephemeris, he has done it. I'm sure all of you are aware of it. So he's done the same thing 100 years back, using manual documentation in Madras. So this, we have manual documentation of Samikannu Pillai, who worked under the fathers of church fathers those days. Now we have archaeoastronomy using planetarium software, and this is all merging and converging to the same point because it is all Satyam Unmai. If it was not Satyam Unmai, they will be divergent. And now what we have for us is to know this knowledge, relish the knowledge, share the knowledge, Anubhavam, which is what Bharatham is all about, Inaikum Bharatham. Thank you so much for listening to the session. I think we'll break now. Thank you so much for listening to this session. Namaskaram. Vanakkam.